Hi, I'm Mike Gentile from the rock band Majungas, and on this episode of Strange Tales, we're going to explore a mysterious hole in the Pacific Northwest, which has become the subject of urban legends and conspiracy theories. Washington State is no stranger to the absurd, with such occurrences like the UFO incident in Maury Island or roadside troll monuments, and then there's Mel's Hole. Okay, rest assured, this viewing is safe for kids, but you might want to have work-safe mode on when you Google the words Mel's Hole. In the late 90s, the great Art Bell of Coast to Coast AM followed up on a fax that was sent to him by a person named Mel Waters, whose property somewhere around the Monastash Ridge near Ellensburg contained this peculiar hole. Mel said he retired to the area some time ago to pursue his interest in alternative medicine. Even though Waters was reluctant, Bell convinced him to appear on the show and share these details. Mel described the hole as a 9-foot in diameter bottomless hole that for years him and others in the area would use as a dumping site. Curiosity led them to experiment with disposal of very large items like TVs and fridges, none of which ever made a sound. Even voice projections went echoless, and no animals would dare go near it. Mel never found a bottom to the hole either, measuring over 80,000 feet by using a vast supply of weighted fishing line. The hole had some other strange properties to it as well, like a black beam of light that would project from the opening, and according to one of the other locals, it actually resurrected his deceased hunting dog. The episode sparked an immediate flood of interest from callers and investigators who phoned in to spin wild theories and even lend some advice, none of which could ever be acted on. In the days after the first episode aired, Mel said his property was abruptly blocked off by armed officials, who told him that a plane had crashed there. The more questions that Mel asked, the more the imposing figures became confrontational, even threatening to pin an illegal drug lab on him. After being muscled off his own land, Mel reportedly agreed to sell the property to the government, who offered him a substantial amount of money so that he could relocate to Australia and maybe pursue some of his other various interests. Bell and his audience grew an affinity for Mel's story and had him check in with the show a handful of times over the years. Mel was a bit guarded with his whereabouts, but indicated he had since moved back from Australia to unknown areas of the Pacific Northwest, and despite the large payoffs, he was now broke due to an apparent contract violation. Mel indicated that he was spending these days living somewhat like a vagabond, often hitchhiking rides with truck drivers and scraping by with very little. He even accused the government of continuing to harass him, assaulting him in the most unusual ways, like removing his back teeth, erasing his memory, and even stealing random items from him. If the hole wasn't strange enough, Mel Waters the person added even more intrigue, because no one's ever seen him. Researchers found no evidence of a man named Mel Waters ever residing in that area, but some believers point out it would be easy for the government to wipe out his identity, especially given his sequestered lifestyle. On a number of occasions, Mel stated that he bears an uncanny resemblance to Willie Nelson, but again, no one's ever met him to confirm this. Except for a dentist that Art Bell set him up with after he shared the story about his molars being removed. On one of the shows, Bell acknowledged that there was proof Mel's emails were coming from Australia at one point in time, but that's about it. Interestingly though, on one of the later episodes, Mel shared a satellite image of the area found on a Terra server, and surprisingly, it was intentionally whited out, as if it were to be erased. Though some people say it's likely to protect the integrity of the nearby Yakima Military Training Center. Since being pushed off his own lawn, Mel didn't have much to add about the hole in Ellensburg, but he did have some other wild tales about getting involved in a hole that had similar characteristics found in Nevada by a group of Native Americans. The hole has been associated with various conspiracy theories, such as a secret disposal site for radioactive waste. Others claim it's a gateway to another dimension or even to hell itself. A self-proclaimed medicine man who was native to the area named Red Elk said he knew about the hole 40 years prior when he was a child, and he was told stories that dated back to the Yakima Indian Nation. He believed there were alien creatures or cryptids living in the hole to hide from the harsh weather conditions of Earth. Even Red Elk cautioned people never to go in there. Local geologists chimed in with more sensible explanations, like maybe an old mine shaft. Despite all of the search efforts, the only thing people ever found there was an area guarded by no trespassing signs and evidence of a military presence. Maybe Mel's hole is just a big hoax, or maybe it is a whistleblower trying to anonymously tip off something spectacular. Regardless, it remains a fascinating story that continues to fuel the imaginations of strangers like you and I. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. I'll see you next time, strangers. On this episode of Strange Tales Weekly, we are going to plunge deep into Mel's hole. We are going to shine a light into Mel's hole. Probe into the mystery of Mel's hole. Ask for consent to enter Mel's hole. And don't bother trying to reach out to Mel Waters because apparently he fell into the hole and was never heard from again. The end.
Poor Mel.
Asshole.